Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Pure Digital Passion Podcast with me, Moses Kemibaro. With me today is Steve Kahugu, the Chief Technology Officer at CarDuka, a car marketplace that is owned and managed by NCBA, the banking group across Kenya and the region. Most importantly, CarDuka is a marketplace that takes away the trust deficit by giving both buyers and sellers of vehicles a trusted space where they can know that whatever they're buying or selling is authentic, trustworthy, and most importantly, legitimate in the way that it happens. As we may know in Kenya, when we look at buying and selling cars, over 50% of people tend to rely on their own personal referrals and recommendations to do so. And we know for a fact that up to 95% of car sales, basically there's a key concern whether people know they're buying a safe and authentic vehicle from a trusted seller or buyer. But more importantly, today we're going to discuss CarDuka. We're going to talk about its origins, and Steve is going to tell us a little bit more about what they're solving for when it comes to the whole space of buying and selling cars in Kenya. Thank you so much for joining us, Steve.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, Steve, I want to talk to you a little bit, first of all, about the origins of CarDuka. As I understand it, it started off as far back as 2017 as a car auction marketplace with NCBA. Can you tell us about the inception, the gem of the idea, and how this all started?
So the idea came about at around 2017. Initially, it began actually as the first online valuation platform. So what that meant is you could go to CarDuka, fill in your car details, and you'll get an estimate of your car valuation. So this was very important to enable buying and selling of vehicles in the country then. So you as a private seller, you're able to know the value of your car before you actually make a decision to sell or buy a car. Fast forward in 2021, we now launched the auction side of the business. This was to support sale of repossessed units by banks, and also enable other businesses and corporates to be able to dispose their cars via an online competitive process. So that is an auction. And then coming fast forward into now 2024, end of 2024, we wanted to understand consumers in the country, particularly car buyers and car sellers, just to understand the pain points they have, the experience that they've had with the CarDuka of that time. So we did an online survey, just trying to understand the entire market in the country. So we contacted car buyers and car sellers just to understand what is their pain point with the aim of solutioning their pain point. So by doing the survey, we were able to understand their pain points, and that's when we pivoted, or rather we upgraded to the new CarDuka that we have today, which is now a fully fledged marketplace, enabling buying and selling of vehicles in the country.
Fantastic. So your strategy is obviously informed by a lot of market research. As I can see, you went through several iterations, you pivoted, you found different ways to do this. But what is the most critical pain point that CarDuka actually solves for both the buyer and the seller?
And the sellers. That was actually a harsh reality check that we got, So by doing the survey, we actually realized that the biggest pain point is trust. So the nature of our marketplaces actually in Kenya and Africa at large is that trust is our biggest concern. And this has been caused by unreliable sellers, unreliable buyers, and also scams. So by understanding that trust was the biggest concern, we sat down and asked ourselves, how are we able to solution for that trust issue?
And more importantly, now with the trust, there's this confidence and hopefully the more liquidity in the market, right?
Yes.
And growing over time.
Yes.
Now, I want to also just look at maybe the dealer perspective, because I think we can all see around Nairobi and the rest of the country, there's so many car dealers. And I think that's a big avenue for you because you're a platform.
Yes.
Many dealers and private sellers would come to your platform in order to sell. And what would you say were the challenges for these dealers? What are the things that you saw for them when it comes to actually selling the cars?
Selling the cars, So the first thing was also trust, which was actually a shocker on the seller side.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was actually trust.
Okay.
So the same scams that as a car buyer you are exposed to, actually car sellers also are exposed to the same.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. So trust was number one. Then the number two was unreliable car buyers. So by unreliable, I mean somebody who will come, make you hold a vehicle with the promise that I'm going to buy that particular car. So it end up messing your business. So you end up maybe not selling that car to another potential buyer. Then the final one was basically technological tools to help them manage their day-to-day operations. So most of the dealers in the country on Excels. Excel is a powerful tool, but if you look at the world you are in, you need to be able to collect the data that your business is collecting. So now you can be able to get insights around how your business is operating. So that was the other item that dealers were struggling in their businesses.
So you're almost giving them almost like a kind of like an ERP.
Exactly, yes.
That allows them to see the business performance, see what's working, what's not working.
Exactly.
And those insights were lacking before.
They were lacking before. We are not yet there fully in terms of the insights. So it's part of our roadmap.
Yeah.
So the first thing that you are providing with the dealers is now having their own digital showroom, whereby it's what you are calling a dealer microsite. So that's the first step. And then now we are slowly building tools to enable their business. And the reason as to why we take time to launch these particular tools is that we sit down with the business just to understand what exactly are your day-to-day challenges, and then now we can be able to start solutioning from that perspective.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So your core value proposition is trust and safety.
Correct.
All right.
Yes.
And I want you to kind of maybe break it down for me. How does this verification process work? How do you ensure that these sellers and buyers are credible?
Yeah.
And what technology like IPRS integration do you use to make this happen?
Okay. So just to answer that, I'm going to take you now through the flow of how the whole interaction happens. Yeah.
Okay.
So for a car buyer and a car seller, before anything happens, they come to CarDuka and they have to register as an individual. So the first step that we do is that whoever is registering on the platform, whether you're a car seller or a car buyer, we require you to give us your details, ID details. So you give us your name as they are on your ID, you give us your ID number, and then you give us your phone number that you verify by sending an OTP. Once you do that, we now verify your names and your ID number against IPRS. So IPRS is a government system that a database that holds all our records. So if you have a Kenyan ID, you're in that database.
Okay.
So we're able to verify that this is an actual human being, and it's the person, the holder of the ID is the actual person who is registering. Once you do that, then the journey now separates. Yeah. So both buyers and sellers are now in the platform. So on the seller side, what we normally do is we are verifying the business. Remember, this is a business that is registered and that whose work is to sell cars. Yeah. So what we do by that is that we require you to give us your certificate of incorporation, your KRA PIN. Then the other thing that you give us is your logo and your physical location. So by analyzing all this data, your certificate of incorporation, KRA PIN, we're able to verify that you are an actual business. So once you do that, then you're allowed to the platform and you're now allowed to list your vehicles. And then once you list your vehicles, it does not end there. It's not a guarantee that you verified me as a business, then it means that my cars are going to be available on CarDuka. The other thing now we do on that side is that we do what we call content moderation, making sure that whatever you're uploading on the platform is per standards. So we do have a quality score that we check the quality of the images, the content. So if it's, let's say a Toyota Vitz, is it actually a 2019 Toyota Vitz? The price range, does it lie where a 2019 Toyota Vitz should be? And then we also check things like mileage that we share with customers to be able to verify on their end. Yeah? So that's on the dealer side, which is actually the seller side. Then we come to the buyer side. So the buyer side, after the IPRS happens, the other thing that we normally make sure is that every time you are sending an inquiry, we verify, or rather you've already registered, so your details are being sent automatically to that particular dealer. So for the buyer, we just check the IPRS registration and they are good to go.
I know that one of the biggest issues, in fact, is actually, I think, a family friend of mine.
Yeah.
I think there's a time he bought, was it a Touareg or something? Only to discover that the seller had manipulated the odometer or something.
Yes.
So this guy had more mileage than what was indicated, and he started having serious problems. So some of those are some of the things that you also try and address in terms of authenticity of the details, right?
Yeah.
To make sure that this is actually accurate.
Yes. And actually, funny thing, this is actually something I went through when I was buying my first car. So
really, yeah?
I saw a car, and then the beauty of it is that I had the knowledge of understanding that you can actually check mileage of a car when it's in Japan.
Oh.
So I was able to do that, and I was able to identify that the mileage had actually been clocked back.
No way.
Yeah. So on CarDuka, what we've done is that we've included that particular link that a customer can be able to verify the mileage of the car from Japan.
No way.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So it preempts, even the person can just check and immediately you can see. But that means also you flag the seller, right?
Exactly. Yes. So now we're able to start understanding that this seller is actually doing something wrong.
Yeah.
We contact the seller and we're able now to take action against them.
Now, if I understand it correctly, one
Yeah.
of the biggest value propositions
Uh-huh.
of this platform is
Yeah.
that it's closely integrated with NCBA.
Correct. Yes.
NCBA, as we know, I think for decades has been a well-known asset financing business.
Yes.
They help many people buy all sorts of things, including fleets and cars and so
Correct.
forth.
Yes. Yes.
How has that relationship impacted how CarDuka's performing in the marketplace?
So one of the things that we came to appreciate and understand is that there is this assumption that a car buyer will make a decision when they go to the vehicle yard, and that's when they're
Mm.
interested in financing, which is false. So think of it this way: at the moment you decided to buy your car, the first thing that you check is your finances.
Do you have enough?
Do you have enough money? That's the first step that you
Yeah.
check. Yeah. The second thing that you check is the car that you're interested in.
Mm.
So maybe my first car will be this, and then you start looking for the car. So the decision actually happens at home. Or rather, it happens when you've not yet visited a car seller. Yeah?
Or the moment of need, yeah?
Exactly, on
Yeah.
the moment of need. So what we did by that is that we did a direct integration with NCBA. So a lot of car buyers would go to the yard and the dealer would inform them that you can get financing, and then that's when the process would start. But now what we've done is that by integrating, we make sure that the process happens. When you're discovering a car, you're also discovering how much you qualify, because how much you qualify is going to inform the type of car you buy. So the process are running in parallel. So when you're discussing with a dealer about the car, the bank is also validating and checking your statements and also telling you this is how much you can actually qualify for this particular car. So by doing that, we make sure that we shorten the time of purchase because when you're going to a dealer, probably you've already gotten an offer letter from the bank that says we can actually give you $1 million. So whatever you're looking for should be around $1 million, or if you have a top up, you top it up. So that it has been a game changer because it's enabled the transaction, and it also made dealers close deals faster because a buyer will come and they already know that I'm actually qualified.
Oh.
Yeah.
How has the idea of a verified buyer
Yeah.
impacted the dealers or the sellers of cars? Because I think the unscrupulous side tends to be
Yes.
the buyer where you can, I mean, both sides can play the game,
Correct,
but more
yes.
importantly, you know, how has that impacted or benefited the dealers?
The dealers, yeah. So what has happened on the dealer side is that the inquiries they're getting from CarDuka are what they call serious inquiries, yeah. They might not necessarily be that they are closing all the deals, because remember again, once you see the car, there are certain now requirements that come in play. You need
Yes.
insurance. Maybe the amount of money you qualify does not make you buy the specific car that you wanted.
Yeah.
So it means you might not close all the deals, but what they are appreciating is that they are getting people who are actually interested. And CarDuka is, when it comes to the buyer side, we do not restrict on the NCBA financing. So we might get an offer from NCBA in terms of financing, but remember, if a buyer is looking for a car, the dealer can be able to point them to another financier who is going to assist them in closing that.
Or their own
particular
existing
deal.
bank as a buyer.
Exactly.
Okay.
And remember, we also have dealers who actually have in-house financing.
Oh,
as
really?
well.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those options remain available to
They are
them as it were.
exactly correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about the platform because, in fact, when we first interacted, I
Yeah.
think one of the things that really surprised me is that the platform already has 1 million users.
Correct. Actually, as of today, we are at 2.5 million.
No way.
users. Yes.
It's grown since we last spoke?
Yeah, yeah.
So that means it's more than double since our last conversation.
Exactly. Yeah,
Wow.
it's been amazing. Yeah.
So I want to understand a little bit more about the technology. I want to understand about the AI-powered car review. I know
Yeah.
that's one of your key features.
Yeah.
What sort of data-driven insights, does this provide, and how does it empower the buyer
Yeah.
to make a more informed purchase decision?
So the technology that is powering CarDuka, we are purely on cloud,
Okay.
meaning that we are microservice based.
Okay.
So that means that we've separated the various modules on CarDuka just to make sure that we can be able to scale.
Okay.
Looking at the number of users we are getting, we are at a point where scaling is very important for us. So that's the platform that is currently running our site and also our apps. Coming back to AI, we are now at a generation where AI is now part of our lives. Yeah, AI is no longer something that will come; it's here with us. So, looking at the car buying and selling journey, what we realized is that cars are new to all of us. Yeah. So when you grow up, Kenya, we do not manufacture cars, so we don't have that much information around cars. So when you grow up, you're looking forward to actually buy a car. You have no information about what type of car is good, how is the servicing. So we rely on our maybe friends who again are biased by their experience. Looking at the ladies, cars are thought to be a man's toy for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So you'll find that your wife will talk to you about the car, go service it. It has a problem. How do I fix it? Ladies will talk to their brothers, their boyfriends, and so on and so on. Even guys, not all guys knows about cars. So what we wanted to create in CarDuka is the ability to provide information. And there is nothing as good as the AI tools that we have right now. If you go to CarDuka right now, you find a particular vehicle, you are able to just click a button on the review of that particular car. So it tells you an overview of the car. It tells you the pros and cons. So what is good about this car, what is bad about this car, and then it tells you the average maintenance cost of that particular car. Again, remember, owning a car is a long-term thing, yeah? So it has cost involved. So we tell you how much it will take to maintain that car. And then it tells you about cars in that segment as well. And guess what? We are actually now launching a chatbot. So
Okay.
the review was awesome by the fact that it gives you an overview, but we wanted to take it a step further by enabling our users to be able now to get lost in that inquiry. So you can ask all the questions you want. Maybe you want to say, how many years will it take for me to actually own a car worth this much? How much do I need to save? Is this car good for off-roading? So it gives you the freedom to actually query anything that you need on the platform.
So real-time conversational
Exactly,
updates
yes.
on that particular interest that you have.
Yes. And it's actually
Fantastic.
going live tonight.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And again, I'm just imagining from a technology perspective, like you talked about scaling, because I'm just, so my mind is trying to get around the fact that a few weeks ago we were talking about 1 million. They're now telling me that you had more than double.
Yeah, we've
and probably heading to 3 times the size.
Looking at how we are going right now, we estimate by December it'll be at 4 million users. Yes.
What is driving the growth?
Number one, we are doing a lot of marketing.
Okay.
That's one. But the other thing that is really fueling our growth is what we are offering. It's actually a validation that we are solving a problem, the problem of enabling trust in the buying and selling of cars. And CarDuka is built around that. So the numbers are telling us that we are spot on in terms of solving the problem. And users who are coming on the platform are equally enjoying the platform by the feedback we are getting. The reviews from dealers as well, they are very happy with the platform, and they are saying that we are headed in the right direction in trying to solve for the problem in the buying and selling of cars.
I want to go a bit off script here because there's something really important. As you know, as I mentioned to you earlier, I mean, many years ago, I was involved in building a marketplace as well called Dealfish, which subsequently became OLX, which subsequently became GG.
Yeah.
But one of the challenges we faced, and I'm talking about, something like 13, 14 years ago, was this reality at the time that the market wasn't that large.
Yes.
In fact, I think those days, if we had 100,000 users, we thought we were successful. You're talking about almost 4 million by the end of the year.
Yes.
Do you think we reached an inflection point in the market where, possibly because of COVID and maybe more digital first behavior, where the trust signals or the platforms of choice and the sheer number of users had reached a point where there's this confidence around technology, meaning that I think people have understood the difference between about buying a car online from any platform.
Yes.
But what is obviously critical here is the way you built the platform came from understanding the needs of the stakeholders first, and then you built it.
Correct.
Versus, I think historically we see a lot of startups building first and then asking the questions later.
Correct.
Yeah. Do you think that's a factor here? Because it sounds to me like there's probably a lot of marketing, but is there also a lot of organic word of mouth, proof of concept, kind of somebody's validating this actually works?
Yeah. So actually, it's very interesting. You mentioned where you started. That was OLX. I remember back in the day, you guys were actually educating Kenyans on the internet. You remember the internet back in the days used to be the actual web address. You couldn't type maybe CarDuka and get a result. It used to be, you have to know the actual www.carduka.com.
Yeah.
So we've gotten to a place as a country where people are tech savvy. So looking at the stats right now, we have 35 million, and I know by now they are, because that was as of last year, 35 million smartphones in the country.
Yeah.
So Kenyans are very tech savvy. So in terms of navigating on the platforms, they are very much aware of it. And the other thing is that, as you said, people have been learning over time about how a product should be, about how a marketplace should be. So you cannot build something of less standards and
Yeah.
expect people to come in the platform. Yeah.
The
So
consumer is now more
exactly,
sophisticated.
they're
Huh?
more sophisticated. I remember back in the day when we started tech, we used to say users don't know what they want. Now they know what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you have to make sure that when you're building a product, you are very much aware of exactly what you are solving, because if you are not aware, then you're not going to get any traction. So that has played a big role in our numbers, and also the word of mouth is also helping us a lot. The
Yeah.
organic traffic. If I look at, for example, the auction side, that is purely organic.
Really,
It's
just growing on its
it's
own.
growing on its own. Now on the used car side, we're also working towards that, where we get a place that it's now a balance. An increase in our users is equals to an increase in sellers, it's equals to an increase in buyers. So that balance is what now we are pushing for.
Fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, one of the things I think I found very interesting when we met initially is that
Mhm.
you said you also offer dedicated services for private sellers, more specifically self-listing
Yes,
or sell it for me.
correct, yes.
And why was it important to build these solutions for that segment? Because this sounds very interesting. I
Yeah.
don't know, it doesn't sound typical.
Yeah.
So what is the drivers behind self-listing and sell it for me?
So we have around 249, there about 1,000 vehicles that
Okay.
exchange hands yearly in Kenya.
Okay.
80% of those vehicles are purely private sellers. They are not dealers.
Okay. Wow.
So
The majority,
that
huh?
majority, they're in the private seller category. Yeah? So that is your ushagoya. So think of it, those people who exchange cars for land, they're in that.
Informal even,
exactly, they're in that segment. Yeah. So the market there is it's big. The opportunity there is crazier, and the problems there are even crazier. So the problems in that category is crazy, because that's when you are going to easily get conned as a genuine seller.
It's a lot of gray area, yeah?
There's a lot of gray areas there, yeah? So it was very important for us to solution that particular market segment. So we looked at two options. We have a private seller who wants to do it on their own, yeah? So their tech survey, they have time. So they come on CarDuka, they list their car, and it's 100% free. We do not charge. What CarDuka does, it's able now to connect you with an interested party. So the interested party, again, is verified, comes to you as a lead that you contact, and you close the deal. And then now we have private sellers who might not be very tech savvy, could be they are very busy, and they want us to do it, to handle the whole process. So what that means is they bring their car to us, we check the car, take photography, do some paperwork, just making sure that we agree on the terms and conditions, and then CarDuka lists that vehicle, and we handle negotiations, and we handle the sale of that particular vehicle. So once the sale is concluded, we owe you the money, we take our commission. So in that segment, we charge a 5% commission, simply because of the operations that are going behind that.
Wow.
And coming now to last week, we now launched an amazing feature, which is the trade-in.
Trading, okay. How does that work? Yeah.
So you as a private seller, you're in the process of buying another car. So the assumption here, and it's actually a fact, once a car owner, you're a car owner for life. There is no high chances you'll always have a car. You can either downgrade because of finances. A few people are going to sell and stay maybe for a bit of time, but they always come back. So most of the time, private sellers are always upgrading their cars. So the trading feature enables you to start looking for vehicles when you're still using your car. So you come to CarDuka, again, we verify you, but once you're on CarDuka, you go to the trading section, you create your listing. So for example, we can go with, let's say you have a Pajero, yeah? A Mitsubishi, you upload, and you're looking for a 2018 Prado. So you're going to upload your Pajero, and you're going to say that I'm looking for this particular Prado with these specs. And then the trading now is going to be open to dealers. Remember, dealers already have that Prado in their showroom. So dealers are going to come and bid for that Pajero, and they're going to tell you, because you have this Pajero, we can give you this Prado, you're going to top up 4 million. Let's say the price of that Prado is 6 million, so you're going to top up 4 million. So it enables you to actually upgrade, and it also helps you to know financially how much money do I actually need. Because you can imagine the headache that comes with selling and buying at the same time. That would be a crazy headache. So you're making it easier for you as a private seller.
Now, going back again to the dealers, right?
Yeah.
You talked a little bit earlier about this microsites for the dealer,
Correct,
right? And I
yes.
think I saw this feature. You showed it to me when we came for our meeting.
Yeah.
The dealer microsites,
Yeah.
what is the value of having a branded storefront or shop?
Yeah.
within this larger marketplace. How does that add value to the dealer?
So remember, before CarDuka, dealers have created their websites. Yeah, they do a lot of marketing. They've been building their brands. So CarDuka, we are incorporating their brand to our platform. Yeah, making sure if, let's say, there is a buyer who prefers to buy vehicles at dealer X, they can come to CarDuka and see vehicles belonging to dealer X. They can just check the inventory, and then they can be able to make a decision. On the dealer side, what it enables them to do is that it's now enabling them to have a profile within CarDuka that they can share with their potential clients and also with do their marketing. I remember right now we are investing heavily on tech. What I tell dealers is leave that work to us. Let us be the enabler. So instead of having a website that you have to pay a developer, you have to pay the monthly maintenance, let us do that for you, and you're going to give you your own profile on CarDuka. So it enables them to have visibility within the marketplace.
It kind of reminds me of the food delivery services we
Correct,
see in
yes,
Kenya
yes.
today, the Uber Eats, the Glovos and all. And I think what has happened is the consumer's mind,
Yeah.
you don't even think about necessarily going to KFC directly.
Exactly.
You kind of get used to buying through the aggregator or the platform because they have their credit card history. They're giving you those, Uber One points.
Exactly, yes.
They're taking all the friction away. And in fact, over the years, I've always been a big proponent of the brand or the merchant should own the customer experience.
Yes.
But I think what has eventually happened is that in terms of top of mind, the aggregator or the platform becomes the top of mind place.
Yes.
And then the idea is that you now look through the menu to see what's available to me here, of which now you'd look for your car dealer of choice.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of brilliant because if you're saying, like, for instance, I can do this concierge service or list for me or sell for me, the dealer knows that, a lot of the heavy lifting on the marketing and so forth is done, then in a way it kind of puts less pressure on them to do all the self-promotion.
Correct.
And then they know that provided we've got these, potentially 4 million buyers on this platform, my job is just to make sure my inventory is available.
Correct, yes.
So is that the kind of transition you're seeing happening in the space as well?
Yes, so that's where we are headed. We are even, at the moment, we are doing video content for dealers, yeah?
Wow.
So we have a team that is currently going around dealers, taking video content that now we use now to promote the dealer. So when we do the video content, we make sure that the dealer name is on that particular video. So
fantastic.
It helps the dealers to now start promoting their listings without necessarily spending a coin, because our role is connecting car buyers and car sellers. So solution for them and then solution for buyers. So that's where we are headed, yes.
Now, I'm also recollecting from my early days, when I was doing Dealfish, one of the challenges we had is we had what we called ambassadors or category managers who would go to dealers one by one, taking photos and uploading the inventory. And what we discovered very early in those days, sometimes even we'd be given listings on written papers. And then our teams would have to go and take photos and then upload the stories of the pub. Now, has that changed, or do you guys still find that one of the challenges of the dealers is that they're fairly low tech and you have to kind of drag them into the platform? Is that still happening?
So on our side, it's a deliberate decision not to do that.
Brilliant idea.
So what we've come to learn is that if you teach a user a bad habit, then
they never change.
You tell them now to do it on their own, they'll be like, hey, this is a lot of work, yeah? But if you teach them from the onset and make it as simple as possible, listen to their feedback. What is the pain point of listing? For example, when we started, because of the quality score that we were pushing, we had created on the upload section of our listing, you had to select one photo at a time. So you had to come and select the front angle, the back angle at different inputs. So what this did is that it gave us brilliant content. However, on the dealer side and on the seller side, it becomes a bit tedious. Because you can imagine when you're uploading one by one, you spend a lot of time doing that, yeah? So we collected that feedback and you are able to quickly upgrade that to just take all your photos and dump them in one input field, and then you can move on, yeah? So what this means is we train them on how to do it, and we are also taking feedback to make their process as smooth as possible. So that's the route we take, rather than actually doing it for them.
So basically they've had to onboard and learn for themselves.
Everything.
But of course you made it super easy.
Exactly.
Super simple. And of course, as they start to see evidence of results, they're now more invested in
the platform.
Yeah.
Correct, yes.
I mean, that was a huge challenge in the earlier days. I have to tell you.
Imagine,
I mean, we were doing it manually, sending out teams to capture content. But also, funny enough, I remember some of the ones who adopted early, what they did is once they started seeing the numbers, they would hire a young intern
who is
somebody who was tech savvy, and then they would come in and do the same.
Okay.
Yeah. So another thing I want to talk about is, when you think about the dealers, right? They become verified partners on CarDuka. How does this enhance their business performance? Are they seeing better conversions? Are they seeing faster sales cycles or access to new customer bases? How does that verified partner work for the dealer?
So how the dealers are actually benefiting from CarDuka is that, remember, we've already filtered the car buyers by verifying them, yeah? So that's the first benefit. Whatever leads that you are sending to them, it's a lead that you are sure this is a person who is interested in that particular car, so they get that benefit. The other benefit that they are getting is now the users. Remember, we are at 2.5 million, with 15 million engagements.
The market is growing.
The market is growing. So that means a stream of inquiries are coming through. So it's opening new opportunities for dealers, yeah? So the dealers who are used to Facebook, TikTok leads, they now have CarDuka, which is now this powerful machine that is continuously giving them leads coming into their site. The other thing that they're actually benefiting from now is the integration with NCBA.
Of course,
so the financing aspect, yeah? 80% of the cars in the country are financed. So that tells you that anybody who is coming to that yard, high chances they want financing, yeah? So by financing them on this side, it enables a dealer to even close the deal quickly. It enables them to make sales. So the feedback we are getting and the results that we are seeing is that dealers are very happy with the platform, and this is evident by the number of listings that we are getting from dealers. So dealers are continuously pushing new listings on the platform. They are calling us. For example, if you are doing an upgrade and the system might be unavailable for 5 minutes, they'll call you and tell you, I can't log in. So it tells you they are engaging with the platform. Yeah?
Correct.
So that shows the value the platform is giving them.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So we talked a little bit about your roadmap when we first met, and you were talking about a roadmap that takes you all the way to 2030.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And this includes, the trade-in feature which you've just talked about that has gone live.
Yeah.
There was also something called the CarDuka Club community.
Yeah.
What is the long-term vision, and what can users and dealers expect in the next, say, 12 to 18 months?
Okay. So the long-term vision of CarDuka is to be a trusted marketplace for buying and selling of cars across Africa. So that's the long-term vision.
So beyond Kenya?
Beyond Kenya, yeah. So that's the vision, and that's why our roadmap is very, very extensive. We know the feature we are going to roll out in 2030. It's that extensive. However, we normally change a lot of things depending on where we are at a given point, depending on how the market is shifting. So coming back to what dealers will be expecting in the coming, let's say, 18 months, we're going to be launching the dealer ERP tools. So this will be BIA tools, basically business intelligence, to guide their businesses. We are also going to be opening up the marketplace to more finance companies. So we are not going to be limited only to NCBA. We're going to open it up, making sure that with every buyer segment, you're able to solution them. Because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that if you're a buyer, you come to CarDuka, you're able to buy a car on the platform. The other thing that we are going now to be doing is overall partnership. So what we are looking at is to build a one-stop shop on CarDuka. So what that means is you come and discover a car on CarDuka. Yeah? So there is a discovery aspect, there is a purchase aspect, and now there is the ownership aspect. So buying of insurance, renewing of insurance, and then there is buying of spare parts.
Also, even the support elements.
Exactly.
After you buy the car.
After you buy the car. So they are going to come in play. So initially, we had actually implemented those services. However, we realized that if you have not actually solution discovery and purchase, it's very hard for you to own the ownership part.
It's more the retention piece.
Exactly, yes. Yeah. So that's why we pivoted now to focusing on the discovery purchase part. And then now we are going to slowly roll out the ownership bit of it. And part of that will be now the CarDuka Club. So the CarDuka Club will be a club of subscribers who are in the platform. And as CarDuka being an aggregator and having the masses, we are now able to negotiate fuel. We'll be able to negotiate parts. We'll be able to negotiate servicing. And they'll all enjoy these services when they're in that club. Yes.
Because now you have the economies of scale, right?
Yes,
you can actually act almost like a collective. And say, look, we have 4 million guys.
Yes.
What deals can you give our members?
Give us for our members?
And that could cut across many things.
Yes.
You could even sell mobile phones and other things to them at better rates.
Yeah. It could come. And also things like, think of it, insurance. we can negotiate a certain scheme with maybe a certain underwriter just to make sure that if you're in CarDuka, then you get maybe less 0.5% compared to
And
somebody else.
preferential access to the
Exactly.
marketplace.
Yes.
So that becomes interesting. I'm almost
Yeah.
thinking of, is it Amazon, the Amazon Prime? It almost feels
Yeah,
like it could have such dynamics. Huh?
Exactly. We are getting there. So the vision is very extensive and it's very rooted in solutioning a car buyer and a car seller.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think is the biggest misconception about buying or selling cars online in Kenya today? And how is CarDuka working to change that narrative?
So today, the biggest misconception, I would say, buying a car online, or rather in Kenya, is risky. Buying a car online is risky. That used to be a fact an year ago.
Just a year.
Just an year ago. But after CarDuka, I can say that is a misconception because CarDuka is guaranteeing, or rather, it's making sure that we are creating a marketplace, and CarDuka is a marketplace that is guided by trust. So meaning you as a car buyer coming to CarDuka, you are guaranteed that there is a trust element. We are going to validate the seller. We are going to validate the buyer. We're also going to educate you on what to look out for when you are now closing the deal. Because remember, as a marketplace, we connect. So once we connect, then there is a conversation that happens away from CarDuka. So we need to educate car buyers on what to look out for. For example, where to go when you are negotiating for a deal. Don't just go somewhere in C2. Yeah? So yeah, just be somewhere you know.
Peace of mind.
Exactly, somewhere you know that nothing bad can happen when you're doing a road test. When you're making the payment, do it in a bank. Don't go carry cash. Again, it protects you. So trust is number one. Basically, is what we are offering our customers on CarDuka.
And that sounds to me like that sort of underpins everything. That everything across the board is the trust factor.
Yeah.
It's a common thread for everything that makes it work.
Exactly. The way actually I see it is we get to a point where you order cars, you order food.
Exactly.
You know this is the car I want. The dealer guarantees you if the car has a problem, there is a refund. The car is delivered to your doorstep and you have the keys. The insurer has already put a sticker on it and you are good to go. So that's the vision that we have for this market and CarDuka at large.
And I think it goes back to what you said earlier, which is 80% of the transactions happen in this informal gray area.
The gray area, yes.
And if you just help formalize or introduce trust into that ecosystem, that already is just a massive market right there.
Exactly, yes.
Wow, wow. Yeah. So as we're coming to the end of our conversation, I think there's several things I want to ask you. First of all, for a potential buyer who's hesitant of using the digital platform, because Kenyans are Kenyans. It's like, I know a guy, they prefer to go that route even when it's not safe.
Yeah, true.
What is your one key message to them?
My one key message is that you can trust CarDuka. Go to CarDuka. You're going to find trusted car sellers there. And you're guaranteed that whoever is on CarDuka has been vetted and you can have the conversation regarding a car. So yeah, that's my message to them.
And what about, I'm sure, because again, I'm sure this is the case right now. A lot of car dealers are probably still not on your platform.
Yes, correct.
Probably there are guys who are standing by their guns about doing things the old way.
Yeah.
What advice would you give those car dealers who've not yet onboarded, and why should they, and what could they consider or look forward to if they joined your platform?
So the way I picture this is more of like, when you go to a restaurant and you don't know what to eat, and the waiter tells you this is an amazing meal and just give it a try. So my message to them is that just give it a try, and you're going to experience CarDuka and you're going to see the benefits that CarDuka is actually giving you. We are not charging you, it's 100% free. So as a dealer coming to CarDuka, you're not going to be charged any coin, it's 100% free. So come and experience CarDuka, and then after that, you can now tell me if it works or it doesn't, because I can guarantee you 100% that it does work.
Great.
Yeah.
And as much as we discussed all of this, I think for the benefit of our audience, we'd like to know where they can learn more about CarDuka, where they can download the app, and how can they start their journey with CarDuka, probably both as a seller and a buyer.
So go to www.carduka.com. That is our website. You can also check us out on our social media handles, all CarDuka. We have information, we have FAQs about CarDuka. And once you get to learn about us, you can share ideas, you can share feedback, and we'll be happy to have you on the platform. So register, buy, and sell cars on CarDuka.
Great. Steve, thank you so much for joining us on the Pure Digital Passion podcast. I think you've given a lot of value to our audience in terms of understanding this buying process. Cars are such a fundamental part of our daily lives, and the fact that CarDuka, through solving for trust and safety, I think has provided a platform that we can all can benefit from. I think it's also, I have to give you your flowers to you and your team
Yeah.
in terms of building a platform that's scaling so fast.
Yeah.
But I think also the lesson for other technology entrepreneurs and technology-led businesses is
Yeah.
that solve for the end user or the customer first.
Product, yes.
In this case, the buyers or the sellers,
Yeah.
individual or through dealers
Yeah.
and so forth. And combining that with the financing element, because you said most cars are financed.
Yeah.
You've really looked at all the elements
Yes.
that make the sale of a car successful, safe, peace of mind, all those things.
Yeah.
In a way that I think you've approached this in a very strategic way. So I think congratulations, I think, on that accomplishment.
Thank you very
But
much.
going forward, I think I'm particularly excited because as it turns out, I'm looking at cars myself right now
Yeah,
and looking
remember you
to
mentioned
possibly
that,
buy a car.
Yeah.
And I do intend to use CarDuka to try this out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So there you've heard it from Steve Kahugu, joining us from CarDuka, the car marketplace that's built on trust and safety, allowing both buyers and sellers, individuals and dealers to have a safe, trusted transaction with the peace of mind of knowing that whatever they're buying or selling is going to happen in the right way. Thank you for joining us once again on the Pure Digital Passion podcast with me, Moses Kemibaro, and we'll catch you in the next one.